There are four major types of springs: easy-set torsion springs, easy-set extension springs, standard extension springs, and standard torsion springs. This video will address easy-set torsion, easy-set extension, and standard extension spring assemblies. Please refer to the installation instructions for full details. CLOPAY does not approve of standard torsion spring installation by anyone other than a qualified garage door professional. The first installation will cover the easy-set torsion spring system. Depending upon the weight of your door, one or two spring systems have been included. First, attach the brackets to the front of the horizontal angle using two 3/8-inch carriage bolts. The brackets must be securely attached to the jamb or header using two 5/16-inch by 1 and 5/8-inch lag screws. Solid attachment is critical since these brackets will be under strong spring tension. Please refer to the installation instructions to determine exact bracket location based upon headroom requirement. Your door may require assembly of the torsion tube. If so, use the coupler to connect the tubes by pushing each tube into the coupler. Push in firmly. Now drill two 3/16-inch pilot holes and fasten with two 1/4-inch by 5/8-inch Tek screws. Slide the spring and winding unit onto the torsion tube. Connect the spring and winding unit by snapping the spring plug ears into the slots in the winding unit. Make sure the connection is fully engaged. If you have a double spring system, be sure the spring and winding units have the same color code before you snap them together. Green parts mount on the left. Orange parts mount on the right. Single spring units will mount on the left with a bearing support on the right. Now slide the drums onto the torsion tube. Pay attention to the right and left-hand drums. Make sure all set screws are below the surface of the drums. Slide all the components toward the center to expose about 12 inches from each end of the tube. Carefully lift the torsion tube assembly and place the ends of the tube into the cradle of each bracket. Now, pull the tube just far enough away from the bracket to slide the drum into the bracket. Now push the winding unit rails into the bracket slot with enough force to feel and hear a click. This means the unit is securely in place. Repeat this procedure for the other side. Make sure the torsion tube is centered above the door. If your door is over 10 feet wide, snap the center support onto the center of the tube. Next, using two 1/4-inch by 1-inch lag screws, fasten securely to the header or jamb in a diagonal pattern above the center of the door. Sight down the tube to make sure it is straight and shim if required. The torsion tube must be the same distance from the wall throughout its length. Beginning with the left side, finger tighten both screws in the set cone. Use a 3/8-inch wrench and tighten 3/4 of a turn to firmly grip the tube. It is important that the natural gaps between the spring coils are not stretched or compressed before the cone is tightened. Attach the looped end of the lift cable to the button on the safety bottom bracket. Next, pull the cable through the legs of the bracket and header, and insert the cable lug into the slot in the drum. Take up the cable slack by turning the drum. Make sure the cable is pulled tightly into the drum grooves. Push the drum against the winding unit, and tighten one set screw 3/4 of a turn using a 3/16-inch hex wrench. Now get your 3/8-inch power drill, set it in the forward, clockwise position with a 1/4-inch insert bit provided. While maintaining tension on the cable, place the insert bit into the drive shaft of the winding unit. Be careful not to apply excess pressure on the winding unit. Slowly wind the spring 1 to 2 turns. The number of spaces between the stripes on the spring equals the number of winds on the spring. The spring tension will maintain cable tension. Always begin with the left side, then proceed to the right. For a double spring arrangement, repeat the previous procedure on the right. For a single spring arrangement, connect the cable as previously shown and push the drum against the bearing while tightening the set screw. Now refer to the installation instructions to determine the proper number of winds for your spring. Use the drill to slowly wind the spring, stopping when the number of spaces between stripes equals the specified number of winds. Repeat for the second spring if required. The spring is now properly tensioned. Carefully raise the door and stop about halfway open. This is the first time the door is being opened. Check to be sure the horizontal tracks are parallel with each side of the door. Make sure the gap between the edge of the door and track does not exceed about a ½ inch. If an adjustment of the rear track hanger is necessary, lower the door first. Please refer to the installation manual for complete instructions.